Okay, our first question tonight comes from Don Vanderslice. Don Vanderslice,
Hey,
please go ahead.
Don, I got a property information sheet on you, don't I?
Yes, you do, Ron. Thanks for the opportunity to chat for a moment, and I appreciate you taking a look at that.
All right, boy, you go for them big ones, don't you? Don's got a $5.9 million house here tonight.
That's why I'm talking to you, because this is the listing looks like it should be on the cover of an architectural magazine. It's in a super prime location, right on the waterfront, overlooking a bay, and comparables. There actually are some that are in similar circumstances around this bay. Different pricing, and of course, when you're at this level, you know better than anybody how hard it can be to find something that is exactly the same. But what the guy is asking is, I know it's not necessarily the best reference, but it's $1 million less than Zillow's estimate should be. He's willing to do a lease option, or lease purchase, I should say. And my question to you is, looking at this deal, do you think sandwich lease is my first?
Well, let's first of all tell the rest of our listeners what we're talking about.
Of course.
Property is in Sarasota, Florida. It's on the water. Asking $5.9 million, only owes $1 million. You didn't give me his payment. And it's a 7,000 square foot house. It's only got 3 bedrooms. How can that be, Don?
It's just gigantic.
5.5 baths, but only 3 bedrooms. Okay. $150 yearly association dues. That's all. That's good. And you said yes that he would consider a lease purchase. Well, did you talk about any other terms beyond that?
This is a recent came in from my VA. I am talking to you before I'm talking to the owner, because I don't want to. I want to feel as confident about this going into it before I talk to him. So I have not talked to him yet. This is right from my VA.
Well, it's going to come down to what the owner's willing to do, and this looks most certainly like a deal where you're going to have to go find the buyer before you commit yourself to do anything. And back to your question, whether it's a sandwich or not is not determinable at this time, because you don't know anything about what the seller's asking and or what your buyer will bring to the table if you put it on the market. This much I'm going to tell you. Houses in this price range have a very small marketplace. So if you go into this thing, you're going to be in it a while most likely, and you really need to create some good terms on this so you can attract somebody to it and not try to get maximum dollars out of it or maximum monthly payment out of it. And this is a conversation that the seller should be sharing with you as well. Do you know the motive? You don't know anything here, do you? It just says downsizing. You haven't talked to him, so.
No, I have not yet.
And it's not listed with a realtor.
It is not.
So sounds like a beautiful house, but I don't know. The waterfront lot's probably a good chunk of the value. What it's worth, I have a hard time believing that a 7,000 square foot house is worth $5.9 million, even on the water. I don't know that for sure. I've not done any comps. But even if it is, you're still working with a small marketplace. So you've got to put yourself in a position to where you're not going to lose. So you're going to have the conversation with the seller that you will go find out what the market will bring, and at that point make a decision, where to go from there. If you're going to lease option it from the seller, if that's the agreement you're going to use, which would be probably the only one that you want to use, because gosh, if you do a purchase on this, if you buy this on a wrap, the closing costs will strangle you. Let me look here. You're going to have, you'll have over $75,000 just to transfer title on this thing now. So a lease purchase is obviously the only answer that we're going to have here.
Right.
You got to get on the phone with that seller.
Okay, that was my intent, but I wanted to run this by you first, is all.
All right. You want to pretend that I'm that seller and call me?
We'll do so.
Okay. Waiting for the phone to ring. Hello. We're practicing, Don. Don.
Right. Thank you. That's a good. Hello, this is Don Vanderslice. My assistant called you a few days ago and said that you were able to, or that you were willing to consider terms on the sale of your house.
Yeah, we talked about a lease purchase.
What's your reason for selling at this time?
Oh, I'm just downsizing. This thing is too big for my wife and I.
All right, just time to move on. I understand. Are you finding a lot of interest in your house so far?
Well, you know, it's a $6 million house. There certainly aren't a lot of people inquiring about it.
Well, I saw the pictures, and I have to say it's a really beautiful house. I mean, the views have got to be spectacular when it comes time for sunset. So I can understand how that'd be something that a lot of people would enjoy seeing if they could afford it. What kind of terms are you willing to work with me on here?
I don't know. I would just ask if I would consider lease purchase, and I said I would consider it. That's as far as I've thought about it.
Well, what would be the minimum you consider as a down payment?
Down payment? I thought you were lease purchasing it. You mean a deposit?
As a deposit, yes.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. You tell me. What do you think you could put down?
Well, it really depends on what the market's going to bear. It'd be a starting point would be trying to find out what would work for you as the minimum.
Well, it's a beautiful house. I hate to put somebody in here and have them tear it up, so I don't know, probably $25,000 deposit.
25,000, did you say?
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, if we go from there, I have to see what we could find, what the market would bear. But I make my money from, instead of charging a commission or anything like that, I make my money on the difference between what I get from a deposit from a prospective lease option client and what I give you. So, damn, I'm really nervous about this, and this is just a practice call.
That's why we practice, Don.
It is.
You want me to turn it around and me be the buyer and you be the seller?
Please.
Okay. Hey, Don, this is Ron. I'm calling you back about the house. You talked to my assistant the other day. Got a sec?
Yeah, sure do. Thank you.
Okay. Well, listen, I've got most of the information on it. I've looked it up online. It's a gorgeous house. And my information says that you would consider a lease purchase on it. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. Well, Don, let me tell you what I do. I'm in the business of luxury homes, and my objective is to find people to put in the house that I can offer terms to give them time to get qualified for a loan. That doesn't mean that they're bad people. It means they're quality people, but not necessarily qualified right now. And as you probably know, you got to pretty qualified to purchase a $6 million house. So we work with folks to give them time to fix whatever's broke. So in order to do that, all I need to know from you is what did you have in mind for a monthly payment? Let's start with that. If I can find the kind of quality buyer that you and I both like with the intent to cash out in the not-too-distant future.
Well, you've already known that my mortgage balance is $1 million. What I'm paying PIT on that is about $6,500 right now.
Okay, so is that if it's okay then if we cover that until we get this person qualified and cash you out?
Well, I think I can move on if I get that covered, so I don't have that as an outgo. So yeah, I think I could agree to that.
All right, well, Don, from what I can tell, it looks like you got the house priced at the top retail price here. I assume that you'll be flexible on that and take some off of that if we find somebody that we think will get you cashed out. Am I correct?
Well, I'm not in a rush to leave, but at the same time, I am trying to downsize. So
I got it.
I'll consider I'll consider it if it's not too far below what I'm asking.
All right. Well, let me tell you what I do. I have to have an agreement with you with some kind of terms on them. My compensation comes from my buyer, not from you. And frankly, it's just a delayed cash out because, again, we give them time to get whatever's broke fixed. In the meantime, they're making a payment and they're maintaining your house. 100% of the repairs goes on to them. I get paid from the difference between what I can collect from them down and what I have to pay you down. So I guess my next question is how big of a deposit would you need on a good quality lease option tenant buyer, Don?
Well, I think I can manage 25,000. I think that would be good.
All right. Okay. Well, the only thing left for me to do, if you're okay with our conversation, is come out and take a look and see if we can get the terms agreed upon while I'm there, and I'll get to work. I really don't need but about a 90-day window, Don, and then I'll get it out there at my expense, and we'll jointly decide whether we want to extend it beyond that if I don't find that buyer. I mean, you got to know that it's a small market for that price range house, but it is the market that I deal in. So if I like what I see when I get there, and I'm sure I will, I'll devote our resources to it at my cost. In fact, there's a website that we'll put it on where we spend $10,000 a month just driving traffic to it. So we'll do everything we know how to do. So what would be a good time for you to get me to come out?
Well, how about this coming Wednesday afternoon?
Okay. I assume you're married?
I am, and my wife is going to be out of town until Thursday morning. Is that all right?
No, I need to come out when both of you are present because I can't imagine you try to explain this to her after I leave. So I'd rather just take care of explaining it to both of you at the same time.
Well, Thursday morning work for you then?
Thursday's fine. Okay, one more question. If I come out there and we can agree upon the terms now, are you ready to get going right away?
Yeah, I've been trying to move this for a few months now, just listening on Zillow, and I've got some interest. Of course, everybody wants to see a pretty house, but haven't had any real bites.
Yeah, you got a lot of callers and looky-loos, don't you?
I sure do.
Well, I'm not one of them, Don. If I come out, what I'd like to do is get some terms and get an agreement as soon as possible, and I'll get this thing into my system. I just want to make sure that you are ready to sell now.
I am.
Okay. Well, I'll see you then on Thursday. All right.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, that was the call. What wasn't that hard, was it? Okay. All right. You know what to do then, Don? I guess.
Thank you.
All right.